Someone please point me to the audiobook ASAP. Hey everyone, this is D, Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions. And today, I'm coming to you all with another Take 6 review, this time for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Co-written and directed by Ritchie, and starring Henry Cavill, Eiza González, Ritchson, Olusanmokun, and Henry Golding. Story-wise, the film is centered around the true historical tale of Special Operations Executive, a covert British World War II organization formed by Prime Minister Winston Churchill to combat the widespread force of Nazi occupation in Europe. Now, narratively, this film is based on the 2014 book Churchill's Secret Warriors, the explosive true story of the Special Forces Desperadoes of World War II by Damien. Now, let me say, I had no idea that this was based on a true story, albeit with a good amount of fictionalizing, mind you. But still, I think realizing that this was an actual story and an actual scenario that played out in history, I just think that gave this some gravitas and a much greater significance that it might not have had otherwise. I have to say that I am never mad at an all-star cast. Henry Cavill, of course, is known to many of you as the former DCEU Superman, although I already knew him long before that as Charles Brandon, the best friend of King Henry VIII in the Showtime series The Tudors. I also know Ritchson from the Reacher series, Eiza González from Alita Battle Angel, Henry Golding from Crazy Rich Asians, and Olusanmokun from the Dune films. In keeping with that, I think the action sequences are fairly fun as well, and I did get a good chuckle out of some of the team banter. All right, jumping over to the cons. I have had to come to terms with the fact that Guy Ritchie's direction and his films are just not for me. I will give him kudos for Snatch because I love that film and I did have fun with Aladdin, although I thought then and I still think now that he was not the best choice to direct that film. But everything else that I've seen from him, no. I actually didn't know that this was directed by him before I went to go see it, but after it was over, it made a whole lot of sense to me. Take that how you will. This film is just dry, like drier than a Popeye's biscuit in your throat with no drink. It really does have all the necessary ingredients to deliver what should be a fairly solid, enjoyable, period piece, action, comedy, spy, thriller, but the execution for me was so weak. The action is fun in theory, but I thought it was kind of soulless. It was very 1, 2, and go, yeah, whoo, You know, it got very bleh after a while. And then when it comes to the comedy, I thought that was fairly bland. The characters aren't developed well at all. We barely learn anything about them. And then I have to say the villain/antagonist did not do anything for me either. He was corny. I also thought the portrayal of Prime Minister Winston Churchill was also extremely bizarre. Even more so because we've seen multiple portrayals of this very prolific figure in history, even if we just reference John Lithgow in The Crown and Gary Oldman in The Darkest Hour. It was very obvious that this was a younger actor portraying the character with a bunch of prosthetics and makeup, and I was just like, why is this necessary? So I'm going to give the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare a C-. I was somewhat intrigued about this one. I didn't have super high expectations, but I figured it'd at least be solid, and in some ways it is, but for me it never really, I don't know, it never really picked up. I never really felt that genuine sense of like excitement and man, like we're in this, we're having a good time, and I can't imagine where this was gonna go. After a certain point, it was like, Okay, like let's move it along. I was ready to close this out, and I think considering how prolific and significant these characters are from a historic standpoint, I felt like they all deserve better than to be at the forefront of a vehicle that in the end feels a whole lot more like a great value version of Inglorious Bastards. Sorry. So, once again, this is D, Movieman, signing off, and I'll see you with the movies.